Hey Spookaroos, this is your host, Eric Dwinells, coming to you. This is another one of our ReMix episodes. This one's coming to us all the way from April of 2016. I got the idea for this episode, as I think I explained on the episode. I haven't actually listened to it again yet, but I will as I edit it. I got the idea for this episode when I was in line at the Chiller Theater Convention waiting to meet Meatloaf, who I'd been compared to pretty much since puberty anyway. I was going to say my entire life, but I guess that's not true. But since puberty anyway, both looks-wise and vocal styling-wise. So while I was down there in New Jersey, I got to talking to some people that were also interested in spooky things, and we were talking about the Jersey Devil. And, of course, that reminded me also of the Dover Demon, which is just a few towns over from the town I grew up in Dover. Well, I grew up in Ashland, Massachusetts. Dover's a few towns over. So Dover, Massachusetts, home to the Dover Demon. I want to remind you all about the website, spookyassshit or spookyas.com. This is the part in the show where I normally tell you that you can listen to each and every episode and all this other information. Unfortunately, I have to amend that because you can no longer listen to each and every episode. Yes, I had to take down some episodes, and the reason for this, I figured, I didn't even want to talk about this situation at all, but I didn't want you guys to think that I was hiding something from you, or like have you go on there and look for these episodes and say, hey, where are these episodes? And then I have to answer every time. So unfortunately, I'm going to be rather vague about this because there are some legal situations that are still in motion, having nothing to do with me, mind you, but other people involved. And it was brought to my attention that somebody who has been on the show a handful of times is problematic. Let's put it in those modern terms. There are some issues with this person, and I did not feel comfortable having his name come up when you search for the show or vice versa, and I wish to distance myself from this person and anything having to do with them. So, unfortunately, like I said, that's about as open with you as I can be because there are some wheels within wheels, as we would say, in motion. So I am sorry that that's all that I can say about it, but that's why those episodes are gone. It's just a handful. You can listen to almost every episode on the website or any other streaming service if you can find them, but sometimes they're no longer available. So you got to go to the website and find them there. You can also find links to all of our social media. We are at SpookyAssShit on both Twitter and Instagram, although I don't really use the Twitter. And you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/spookyas. While you're there, you can join our secret closed group for true blue spookaroos. That's called the Spookaroos. How super appropriate. All right, now also another thing about this episode is this is the first episode I got a bad review for. The person was unhappy that I spent so much time talking about my show that was coming up and the whole Meatloaf story. And, I guess they wanted more Jersey Devil and Dover Demon content. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the reason why we talked about that other stuff was because I didn't really have that much to say about the Dover Demon and the Jersey Devil. They're kind of short stories. I mean, there's more about the Jersey Devil for sure than there is about the Dover Demon. But still, it's like basically stories kind of blend together and, there just wasn't that much to say. So I'm going to cut out some stuff, especially the stuff about the show that's no longer running that I was trying to plug. So I'll cut that out. The thing about, when I share these bits of, slice of life stories with you guys, it's a toss up because you feel like you want to talk a little bit. You want to try to make a connection that's more than just, the spooky stuff that you talk about. And you never know what's going to hit with some people and what's not going to hit. Where there's going to be something that's relatable to somebody else. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, it's something like that happened to me. Or if they can't relate to it, maybe they can connect to it, in some way, shape, or form. There's lots of podcasts like that for me where I feel like I know the host better because they share these kinds of things. So to me, that's why I do these kind of things. But if it gets you all bent out of shape that I'm not spending the entire time talking about whatever the subject is, then maybe this isn't the show for you. That's all. And you don't have to write some nasty review about it. Just not the show for you. I shouldn't say too badly, because they did leave a 3-star review. That's not bad. It's not terrible. Could be worse. All right, am I jibber-jabbering too much? I already got in trouble for it. So, here we go. Here is the old episode about the Jersey Devil and the Dover Demon. Welcome to Spooky Ass Shit. I am your host, Eric Dwinells, back in the saddle again after taking a week off due to a guest cancellation and then to illness. And really, I just didn't want to leave you guys with another episode of just me talking at you. Although, I don't know, I don't think the last episode was too bad, but you tell me what you think. But I'm very happy today to have a guest back in the studio. He's the most recurring guest of Spooky Ass Shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cole.
Hey, everybody. I'm back. I'm here. I'm happy. And what I like about your intro right there, just in general, you called this a studio, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Your
It is.
spooky-ass studio.
It is. It's a home.
A home studio.
Yeah. It's quaint. I'm not.
It is quaint. It is quaint. The best thing about our home studio today, you guys can't see this at home, but Eric, he does a nice job. He sets up a spooky ass. He has a spooky ass setup going on. So we got table. There's usually we got the crystal ball to my left here. He has a cat, but he usually lights a pumpkin candle just to set a Halloweeny ambiance. But today the pumpkin candle is running low, so we're going full on Christmas candle.
Yeah. Well, listen, it is pine scented.
That's true.
And our story today is set in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey.
Bam.
Didn't plan it that way, but that just occurred to me now. So,
so it's actually
it's perfectly fitting to the theme.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
That's right.
Well played. But no, I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to talk about some spooky ass shit. What are we going to talk about today, Eric?
We're going to talk about we're going to talk about a devil and a demon.
All right.
The Jersey Devil and the Dover Demon. And the reason why we're going to talk about the Jersey Devil today.
Yeah?
It's because, guess what I did this weekend?
Oh, I don't know. You were naked on a stage in front of an entire audience.
I did do that. But right before I did that, on Saturday, I drove down to New Jersey.
Oh. To do what?
I drove down there and back in the same day because I had a show that night to meet 70s icon and singer Meatloaf.
Ah! That's
Now, you may ask yourself, why would I drive all the way from Boston to New Jersey, which is about a little less than 4 hours each way?
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's quicker than I thought.
Yeah, but it's still a commitment.
Yeah, that especially when you had a show the night before and you have the show that night.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, my whole life, since I started singing, people have said, like from the time I was 12 years old, people have said, hey, do you know who you sound like? Do you know who you look like? Do you know who you sound like? Do you know who you look like?
Prince.
No, they never said Prince. It was always Meatloaf. So like I've just been hearing this nonstop,
right.
And
So
it's been like a thing in my life. Like first I railed against it, and I was like, but I actually like Meatloaf's songs and his singing.
They're catchy. Who doesn't like them?
Yeah, like Bat Out of Hell's actually a good album. It's not for everybody, I'll give you that, but
it's a good album though.
For the people,
it's solid.
Swore, yeah,
it's solid. Don't poo-poo it. I know some of you are poo-pooing it. Don't do that. It's not a good look. It's a good album.
I have found that a lot of people secretly love Meatloaf.
Yeah,
like they don't talk about it a lot, but if you play it, they'll be really excited.
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, yeah,
because
it's very indulgent. Like the songs are very long and they're like
over
bizarrely named a lot, and they're very like they're kind of show tuney.
Yeah,
yeah, which is what they were meant to be. But anyway, I've been compared to Meatloaf my entire life. So when he was coming down, I said, well, also I have a Rocky Horror album signed by several cast members. And so I said, well, if Meatloaf is going to be down there, he was in the Rocky Horror movie.
Yep.
I'll go get it. Also, he was in the Broadway production of Hair. Not the original cast, but he was in the Broadway company eventually.
So, did he play Wolf?
He did not.
Oh.
No, I have a bigger part than he had.
Sucker.
Yeah, he was a tribe member. He played several different smaller roles.
All right, well, it's no Wolf, but...
No. But we talked about Hair when I was there. And we
Interesting.
talked about me being compared to him. He does not think that I look like him, and I agree. But,
Okay.
Also, I don't usually admit this in public, but he got his name Meatloaf because his dad called him Meat.
Oh, all right.
And my dad passed away when I was very young, but he used to call me Meatball
Oh, okay.
because every time we'd go to the sub shop, I'd order a cup of meatballs.
Nice.
I do not want to be called Meatball, by the way.
No, I
so
won't
don't
call
start that.
I won't
but
call you Meatball.
That's for my dad only. But it was something that we had in common. We were both meat products, according to our dads.
Okay. That's interesting.
But anyway, while I was down there meeting Meatloaf and confirming that I don't look like him and getting my record signed and talking about Hair.
It's a pretty cool day.
Yeah. I was in line for a while. And in line, I got to talking to some folks whose names I didn't catch.
Okay.
But there was a young gentleman behind me and a young lady in front of me. So I'd like to give a shout out to those folks if they're listening, because I did mention the podcast. I can't believe that I did not think to bring flyers or something to a fucking horror convention.
Yeah, you would really think that you would
Well, the thing is, I didn't think I was going to go.
Okay. So you weren't prepared.
Because I had heard about it, and I was like, I'm not going to go. I don't really have money, and I don't want to drive all the way down there and all the way back in one day and then do a show. And like you said, have done the show the night before.
Right.
But I literally woke up at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning and said, fuck it.
I'm doing it.
Put on the clothes I was wearing the night before and drove to New Jersey.
Right.
The trip to New Jersey is what inspired today's topic.
Let's talk about the Jersey Devil. Let's do it. Let's go crazy. Talk about Martin Brodeur. We'll talk about Scott Stevens. Talk about Ilya Kovalchuk for a little while.
I am going to assume that these are hockey players.
These are hockey players.
Aha!
Yeah. Yeah,
Look
you
at
see
that.
what I did there?
Sports go sports. All right. Well, Tom makes an astute point that the New Jersey hockey team is known as the New Jersey Devils.
Sure are.
And now you will find out why.
You know, it's a fun fact. I didn't know why for the longest time. I always thought it was the weirdest name. Like, why the hell would New Jersey be called the Devils?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I learned that there's some folklore about a devil who lived down in Jersey.
Devil went down to Jersey.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, listen. First of all, the place, as I mentioned earlier, thanks to our pine-scented candle, is the place where this Jersey Devil is supposed to live is known as the Pine Barrens. But actually, originally, it was known by the Native American tribes that lived there as the Papuusing.
Papuesing.
What's that?
Papuesing.
Oh, is that how they say
Yeah,
it?
Papuesing.
I like how they're like vaguely Italian.
Slash Jamaican, I guess. Papuesing.
I don't know. I can never tell what accents you're trying to pull off. But.
Yeah, I'm really good at accents. I'm a classically trained actor, meaning I took one course in college.
Well, however you say the word, it means place of the dragon.
Okay.
And a common description of the Jersey Devil is basically that he's kind of got like a kangaroo body, but like a long giraffe neck. And then like the head of, some people say a goat. I think it looks more like a camel. And then he's got like big leathery bat wings. He's got horns sometimes. He's got little tiny T-Rex arms and clawed hands. Of course, the cloven hooves and a forked tail. So he's really like a mixed match of like...
Yeah. He's a real looker.
Yeah, different creatures. And descriptions have varied over time. But that's like the kind of most common one that's in place now. And the earliest reported sighting that I could find was by a Commodore in the U.S. Navy who was visiting the Hanover Mill Works to inspect cannonballs that were being forged for his fleet when he saw a flying creature flapping its gigantic wings. And he fired a cannonball at it, but it had no effect.
Huh.
And there's not an exact date on when that happened, but this guy lived between sometime in the like mid to late 1700s until 1820. So it's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, he
in that
fired
time.
he fired a cannonball, so
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of figure it's
old
around
timey.
that time. Yeah.
Yeah, colonial.
Yeah. When
little
were
after-
cannonballs in play?
Yeah. And then Joseph Bonaparte.
Is he related to Napoleon?
He's his older brother.
Oh, what a guess.
Yeah, but could you like that's kind of a rough family to be in. I don't know who's. It's definitely worse for one of them.
Why was he in New Jersey?
I don't know. We don't need to get into that.
All right.
But it's a fair question.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
French.
But I'm talking about the names. You have Napoleon
Yeah,
and Joseph.
yeah, he really got shot. He must have been the last kid. Oh no, he was the
No,
older brother
He's
though.
the older brother. Yeah.
So I was gonna say usually it goes like
Oh, and my
the
and-
first few names have just really deep meaning. You know, like we had like 18 Andrews in our family, and you're the 19th. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then like the time you get down to the last one, it's like, oh,
Well, my family. My dad is Billy.
yeah,
My mom is Dottie.
Dottie.
My oldest brother, Billy Jr.
Okay.
Billy. Sister Cindy.
Yeah.
Brother Danny. And then there's Eric. I don't know what that means, but it means something. I was marked different.
Yeah, you just different breed.
Yeah. But anyway, Joseph Bonaparte,
Good old Joe.
older brother of Nappy, was claimed to have witnessed the Jersey Devil while hunting in 1820.
Ah.
And then there are several reports of livestock being attacked by the Jersey Devil.
So what happened in 1909?
Okay. So in 1909, in 1 week, it was the week of January 16th through the 23rd, newspapers began to publish hundreds of accounts of encounters with the Jersey Devil from all over the state. And they include alleged attacks on a trolley car and at a social club. I couldn't find much information on the social club one because I was really interested. Like, did he walk in
Yeah.
and like, hey, what's up? I'm gonna fuck up your party,
Right. Yeah.
or was it like an outdoor kind of thing? Like,
A gala.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. And it was also reported that police in Pennsylvania, he's known to the Pine Barrens spread out to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the New Jersey Devil,
Yeah.
but it gets around.
Yeah, he's also been reported like as far south as Maryland,
Yeah. So
and he's been seen in Delaware. So he gets around.
so
but-
he's like the Mid-Atlantic Devil.
yeah, but his home base,
It's New Jersey. Yeah.
like the boss,
That's right.
like the boss, he goes on tour, but he always comes home to Jersey. Yeah. All right. The widespread newspaper coverage led to a panic throughout the Delaware Valley, even prompting a number of schools to close and workers to stay home. The schools would close completely or close before sunset in the winter.
So I mean, after the workers, they're able to stay home.
Yeah.
Like you think like laborers, how many New Jersey Devil hoaxes did they have?
How awesome would that be if you got the phone call?
Yeah.
Tom, you don't have to come into work today. Why not? Oh, there's like this flying demon that might attack. So just stay home.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Yeah, Tom, you don't have to lay down roads. You don't have to build walls today with your bare hands because there's a New Jersey Devil flying around.
And this was 1909. It's
Yeah.
not even like this was like 15 whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I mean
this
the
was
people
fairly recent.
Yeah, the people were educated at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't all stupid.
It wasn't the Dark Ages. It wasn't, Oh boy.
Gee, the printing press was around. Actually, the printing press was around in the
It'd been around for a while.
It'd been
but,
around
yeah.
for a few
So
hundred
these people had
years.
time to read stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, there's a legend about how this devil came to be.
Oh.
Okay. And the legend says that Mother Leeds, that's how she's known in the legend, Mother
Okay.
Leeds, had 12 children.
Oh, she's a hoe. Good Catholic girl.
Well, except that she was also allegedly a witch.
Oh.
And when she got pregnant with the 13th child, she said, "This is the devil's child."
I was just going to say devil seed. All right, that's fun. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm hooked on this story. Let's do it.
So in 1735, Mother Leeds went into labor with the 13th child on a dark and stormy night with the help of a midwife to deliver this baby. Now, the baby was born normal, but it soon changed in appearance. Its legs and feet turned into hooves. Its head changed into its more animal state, again, debatable, goat or camel.
Right.
It grew wings like a bat and a tail that was forked. It began growling and screaming and flying all over the room.
Ah.
It attacked and killed the midwife who had delivered it.
Oh, no.
Then it flew up the chimney and out of the house, where it went to live in the Pine Barrens. And apparently still lives to this day.
Jeez. Wow. That is a demon seed.
Yeah.
That is the devil's child.
But in 1740, a priest came and he exorcised the demon for 100 years. So this creature was not seen again until 1890,
Okay.
which fits into the time frame that we talked about when he was first seen
Right, yeah, it does.
by the Commodore, who fired a cannonball at it. And then
Correct.
shortly thereafter, Joey Bonaparte.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, pretty factual. Sounds like everything's adding up.
Yeah, this timeline's it's checking out.
Now, in 1736, if you look at historical records, there actually was a Mother Leeds, whose name was actually Deborah Leeds, and her husband's name was, how would you say that name?
Japhet.
Japhet?
Japhet.
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 Jaffy.
Jafar.
We'll go with Jafar.
Yeah, her husband Jafar Leeds. He named 12 children in his will that he wrote that year in 1736. So that
adds up. That adds up with the legend.
That's right. But historians also like to point out that Mother Leeds, you don't need to look for a factual basis for Mother Leeds, because actually the reason that this whole origin story was invented was because of a politician at the time named Daniel Leeds, who lived from 1651 to 1720. And they're saying, and he's saying basically that the New Jersey Devil was given the Leeds family name to kind of cast aspersions on Daniel Leeds as a politician, like as a monster. And
good. Well, it looks, because he's 1651 to 1720, so they were still playing those political games even back then.
Right. Yeah. And as for the Jersey Devil in general, the myth is believed to have been around since the 1820s at least.
Right.
But we don't actually see any news reports about it until 1909.
Right.
The hundreds of stories that we talked about all of a sudden coming out. So, and at that time, that's when it becomes this bizarre creature that we hear about with the, camel head, giraffe neck, kangaroo body, bat wings, and hooves.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And of course, if you go to spookyasshit.com,
you can see a picture.
You can see the artist rendering of
and
the Jersey Devil.
Tell you, it's a gnarly creature. If I saw it, I wouldn't. I'd be scared.
Yeah. So, of course, the paranormal explanations as to what the Jersey Devil is include that it's actually exactly what the legend says. It's the son of the devil.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's probably the most likely
Yeah.
option.
Well, as you said, everything lines up.
Absolutely.
If you forget about the political thing and just go with the Deborah Lead story, she had 12 children. That is on record. Her
Correct.
and Jafar.
Correct.
12 kids.
Yeah.
But they don't mention the 13th one that killed people and flew out the chimney.
Yeah.
And then was exercised for 100 years.
Correct. Yeah, and Joey Bonaparte.
Yeah.
There's not much is known about him, but one thing is that he is a truth teller. He has no imagination at all, and he calls them like he sees them.
I've always heard that about him.
That's the only thing I've ever heard about him. So I figure.
And he loved Jersey.
And he loved Jersey. Yeah. He frequented.
There you go.
I got it.
We found another word.
I got it. Trousers, crayons.
Trousers.
He frequented Atlantic City. He loved the whores over there. And he saw himself a New Jersey Devil.
This is good because like 6 minutes ago, I would not have said you were such a historian, but now you've done some reading, you've done some research.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't like to brag about it.
I appreciate your expertise on the show. All right. Now, as far as other explanations, I haven't really heard any others, except I bet there's people out there that are going to claim that it could be some kind of alien life form.
Oh, always.
Also, Plum Island is located near there. And Plum Island used to be a military base, but in the 1980s, they stopped using it as a military base, and it's now a place where they conduct experiments on livestock.
Oh.
Not the government, though. I forget the name of the agency, and I'm too lazy to look it up right now. But it's not the government. It's not a government agency that does it.
Someone's doing experiments.
Right.
Okay.
But it's only on livestock. It's
Right.
not on like weird creatures or like dogs or monkeys or
Right.
anything
So
like
we're
that. It's
talking
just
like-
cattle, like
Yeah.
you know,
Cows,
that kind of
pigs,
stuff. But the theory is that is a cover, and that some kind of mutant creatures have been escaping from Plum
Right.
Island and making their way over to Jersey,
Oh.
home of weird creatures.
I hope that is the true story.
Yeah,
That would be
because
great.
there were things like something washed up on a beach in Montauk, which is in New York, I do believe, like Long Island.
That sounds about right.
I'm not sure, but I think that's true. And there's pictures of this, too. You can find this on spookyasshit.com. And it's like a corpse. I can see you looking at me, so I'll show you a picture later.
All right,
on.
I want to see this
But,
picture. I haven't
actually,
seen
let me
it.
see if I can pull it up.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Oh. It looks like a almost like it's like a hippo pig. Oh jeez.
Yeah, I've heard different explanations as to what it is.
It's like a rhino hippo pig.
Well, they say it could be a dog.
Yeah.
Like a pit bull
Oh, I guess yeah. It kind of has that
drowned
snout.
and then was
Yeah.
washed up. There's one picture here that
And
compares it to a raccoon.
yeah, I mean, I guess if it's in water, it will bloat too.
Yeah. So it would be a little bit distorted.
But still, it looks.
It is funky looking.
It's mutant looking
Yeah.
for sure. So that washed up in Montauk.
Yeah. Which is across from Plum Island.
Okay.
So that was one of the examples that they were giving.
Right, the supposed mutated animal.
It doesn't fit the
actual demon,
the Jersey Devil motif,
but it kind of adds support.
It's worth mentioning because it's in the same
potential
area.
support to the story.
Yeah.
Well, to the the mutated animal story.
Yeah. Other possible, more realistic theories is that it's just people misidentifying animals in the woods
Right.
or close to the woods, including sandhill cranes,
Oh.
the great horned owl, large bats, and then even hunters and outdoorsmen. In fact, there's an author and outdoorsman who claims that he heard people freaking out and claiming that he was the Jersey Devil,
Oh.
when actually he was just himself, but he had covered himself in mud to repel mosquitoes.
Okay.
So,
All right. I've seen enough Naked and Afraid to know that that's a good way to repel mosquitoes.
yeah, there you go.
All right. So if you do, but you run the risk of looking like the New Jersey Devil if you do that.
That's right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think it is?
I think it's probably people misidentifying. I don't
Right.
think it's any one animal. Probably it's probably
Different occurrences.
yeah. I mean,
different-
they always seem to be at night. Although
Yeah.
now that we say that, there'll be people. No, I saw it. It would be like shadow
Right.
people. Like I saw it in broad daylight.
right.
How do you explain that? It's like,
Well-
well, you're lying. That's how I explain it. But
Well, all you need is it to happen that first time. The first, someone misidentifying something to say that's a devil with all these
Yeah.
crazy characteristics. You only need that once because that lays the groundwork
right
for people to.
now they're looking for it.
Now they're looking for it exactly.
So anything that they see that they can't explain,
yeah,
immediately,
like oh, there's a devil. Found him.
yeah, that's like, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, it must be the devil.
Yeah, and they conveniently they didn't have cameras and anything to capture
Yeah.
it or anything like that. The only pictures you have are artist renderings.
Well, you say that, but let me show you this.
Oh my God! There's a real picture.
I actually don't know what this picture is, so let's look it up together. I know
Jersey Devil sighting. This is the pictures from October 13th, 2015. Jersey Devil photo, fake.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate, but that doesn't mean the creature isn't real, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Just because there's hoaxers out there. All right. That's really kind of it that I have about the Jersey Devil. Like, you don't hear a lot of big dramatic stories about attacks and stuff.
Right.
There are some out there, but
Right.
I don't know.
But that's, people in New Jersey,
They love it.
they love it. They hooked onto it, and they actually clearly take a lot of pride in it.
Yeah.
And they're tanning themselves and doing all that to look like the New Jersey Devil. So that's
Is that
their
it?
homage.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go a little bit closer to home for us now,
Okay.
because Jersey is not the only state that has its demons.
Yeah.
Right here in Massachusetts,
What?
in the little town of Dover,
Dover.
we have a cryptid as well.
So that's like Southeast Mass.
No, it's not that far from here. It's about 20 minutes from here.
Okay.
So,
I clearly don't know much about Massachusetts geography. Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what it's next to, and I can't for some reason. I go there all the time because they have a really nice library.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Yeah. And it's actually on the street where some of the story takes place.
Oh, get out.
It's on the other end, I think, but yeah.
Interesting.
So
Well,
if you
tell
ever
me-
go to Dover,
Tell me about the Dover Demon.
I will. The
'Cause-
Dover Demon was only seen on one evening. It doesn't have this long history like the Jersey Devil. And that's why it gets ignored by a lot of cryptozoologists
Right.
and, cryptid hunters and stuff like that. Because there's only the one night of sightings and people are just like, eh.
That's all you need.
And he doesn't do anything, like he doesn't attack anybody or anything like that. It's not that kind of story. So it's not sexy.
Right.
in
Yeah,
that
it's
way.
no New Jersey Devil.
Right.
Like it was attacking.
Even the Jersey Devil, like, it's just the fact that it's supposed to be a demon and like that it looks kind of funky and that it's been around a long time, but it's still like not like,
Yeah, it's not.
you
It's
know.
just minding its own business.
yeah. Just stay out of the Pine Barrens. You're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one, Dover's it's kind of like Concord actually. Like it's like that kind of town. It's a little bit
Okay.
more rural than Concord, but
Right.
still it's a wealthy little town. People own horses and shit,
Okay.
like that kind of.
Yeah, that kind of town.
They have a saddlery,
Right.
the Dover saddlery. But anyway, it all started on April 21st, 1977, at exactly 10:32 p.m. 17-year-old Bill Bartlett was driving two of his friends home when he saw something walking along a stone wall, I should say. And at first he just thought it was a dog or a cat. But as he got closer and he caught it full on in the headlights of his car, he noticed that this was not a creature that he was familiar with. It was something he'd never seen before.
Oh.
As he got closer, he got a good look at it, and he says that the creature had 2 large eyes like orange marbles, a watermelon-shaped head, and a body like that of a human infant, but with long, slender arms and long, large hands and feet, with spindly fingers and toes. He estimated the creature's height to be about 3 to 4 feet tall, and he said that his skin was hairless and peach-colored. It appeared to have a rough texture like wet sandpaper.
Oh, that's really specific.
Yeah, especially if you think like you're driving by at night. Like, how long did you get a look at this thing for?
Yeah, really.
I mean, I guess it would stick in your head if it looked that bizarre.
Yeah, but if you just get a glimpse of it.
Right. And also, Bartlett's friends who he was driving home said they didn't see anything.
Yeah. Are we sure Bartlett wasn't hammered?
Well, I don't know. But he drove his friends home, and they said they didn't see anything. And he said, okay. And then he went home himself. And that night, he drew a picture of the creature that he saw.
Oh.
And he inscribed it, saying, I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature. And I think I showed you earlier, but just to refresh your memory,
showed me a
see if you
picture,
have any
and
comments.
It does look like textbook alien, like what you see on TV with, kind of like the description, like a big, like watermelon-y head, very smooth, kind of looking creature, just exactly like that.
Yeah, it essentially looks like what they would call like the gray aliens.
Yeah, that's what it is, gray alien.
Except the eyes are maybe like slightly different.
No, not even.
And the arms are like, I don't know.
It's more primal. Look, it's a bit more like human-y primal looking.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a frog with a big watermelon head and just long limbs walking on 4.
All right, so Bartlett says he saw it. His friends say they didn't see anything weird, but hold on, because there is another witness. Around midnight, the same evening, 15-year-old John Baxter is walking home from his girlfriend's house when he sees a shadowy figure walking towards him in the opposite direction. He sees that the figure is short, and he thinks that this is a friend of his from school that lives nearby. So he calls out to him.
Yeah.
But the figure doesn't respond. He just stops. So John realizes that this probably isn't his friend, and he says, "Who's there?" And again, no response, except that this time the figure that was walking towards him stops moving. So at this point, John takes a step forward towards the creature.
Right.
And the creature runs off the road and into the woods.
Okay, so startled.
Right. Now, most people will probably just leave well enough alone. Not brave young John Baxter.
No.
He follows the sound of the creature's footsteps in the woods. Because he wants to see who or what this is now.
Yeah.
So he goes down there and he sees in silhouette this creature. He says he sees it standing on a rock, a large rock, next to a tree.
Yeah.
But what was weird about it was that the toes looked like they were wrapped almost all the way around the rock.
Oh. So this is kind of jiving with what the other guy said.
Yeah.
The Bartlett.
Yeah, he said the long toes looked, in fact, like they were kind of molded to the rock.
Jeez.
He also says... He says that the creature looked essentially like a monkey, but that it had a large figure-8-shaped head. So I guess that if you look at the sketch that Bartlett drew, Bartlett describes it as watermelon-shaped, which is pretty accurate.
Right.
But he also even draws it where, like, it kind of comes in towards the center and then goes back out.
Figure 80.
So that is sort of figure 80. Yeah. So this description so far, we got the long, spindly toes that were wrapped around the rock, and he's on a rock again, just like he was before. And he got the big head. Baxter says the creature just stared at him with his large eyes, and that is when Baxter began to feel scared.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to know what the creature had in store.
Nope.
So he carefully backed out of the woods and back onto the street.
I would do the same thing.
And then he started to quickly walk down the street once he was out of the woods.
Right.
Until he was picked up by a passing couple that took him home.
Interesting.
Now, these boys did go to school together. However, they were not in the same grade, and they were not friends. They were not known to be. They might have known of each other, but they weren't hanging out.
Right.
So the idea of them hoaxing it, that's one theory.
It's always a theory.
Yeah, that they made a plan to say that they were going to see this thing.
But it seems unlikely.
It seems unlikely.
They seem like an unlikely duo.
Right.
To conspire.
Right. But these are the only reported sightings of the creature, but that didn't stop it from gaining a foothold in the town. And I don't know if the high school team is known as this, but I know that they're like little league teams and stuff like that were known as the Dover Demons.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Their football team might be too. I don't know.
It could be.
But as for more natural explanations as to what this creature may have been, some say it was a baby moose.
Yeah, I could see that. Those are kind of
the head shape, I guess.
Gangly.
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah.
He said they had long arms and with the body, and that would be around like a baby moose would be around 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Except that there's no moose like in this area.
Yeah, they're not really indigenous to this southern.
So it would be way lost.
Yeah.
So, maybe. Another theory is that it was a brown calf, which is a baby cow.
Yeah.
Just making sure everyone knows.
All right.
Yeah, a brown calf that had been orphaned and was kind of lost,
again,
roaming through town.
Same sort of thing. Yeah.
It is a farm town,
like
so
long legs.
Yeah.
The head shape, I guess. If it's dark out, you could.
I don't know if it would be walking on a stone wall though.
No, but I mean, these it's dark and they're frightened. But who knows?
Yeah. And then some people just claim straight up that it was a monkey.
Well, that's just crazy town. That's crazy town. My favorite one's the next one coming up.
This is a typo on my sheet.
Yeah. So what is this one?
It says some people claim that it was an Asian.
So Eric, you people at home don't see this. Eric types up some notes, and he's displaying it on the computer here. And he was telling a story a couple minutes back, and actually,
I saw you make a face.
I read ahead,
wondering.
And I've been.
I just saw it now.
I've been giggling to myself,
knowing that I was going to discover that.
Yep.
Damn you, autocorrect.
Some people just happen to think that this Dover Demon is an Asian. Folks, I don't know if you've ever been to Dover, Massachusetts. I personally never been to Dover, Massachusetts.
The librarian is Asian, if that's what you're getting at.
I'm getting there. I'm guessing Dover, Massachusetts is not a very diverse town. So they see anything out of the norm, like, oh my God, they're here. The Asians are coming.
So your theory is that they saw an Asian.
Yeah, they saw an Asian.
And freaked out.
They saw an Asian and freaked out.
Yeah. No.
Jeez, imagine when the blacks finally entered Dover, what they did.
All right. Dover's a lovely town. I've had nothing but good times there.
Yeah.
And the librarian is an Asian.
Right,
one of the librarians is an Asian gentleman.
Yeah, I'm just saying
and he's very nice.
If you're a minority, just you're taking your own risks by entering Dover.
It was supposed to say alien.
Asian's better.
I don't know how or why that happened, but I'm glad it entertained you at least.
Yeah. Apparently, you're writing Asian a lot in whatever you're doing because that's what it autocorrected.
What I search for.
Yeah.
In my own time.
Yeah, I thought you were into Czech, but Asian too. You know, we all have our Asian days.
No, Czech porn's where it's at.
Yeah, Czech house porn.
Yeah. And then the other theories are again another mutant.
Right.
Maybe not from Plum Island, but And then, of course, the theory just that it's a hoax perpetrated by the kids.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's some sort of wild animal.
Yeah, I don't think it was a hoax. I think it was just something that was misidentified, and
Yeah.
it seemed weird.
I'm guessing Mr. Bartlett was drunk.
You think so?
Yeah, he was driving home with his two buddies. He's a little tipsy.
Yeah, it's possible. That wraps it up for this episode of Spooky Ass Shit.
Yeah. And as he's mentioned, what's your email? spookyasshit@gmail.com.
Yes.
If you want to send some nude shots to him, he's established that he is willing and open to any nude shots. So
yeah, why not?
send him in.
Okay. Until next time, don't be afraid.